Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining me for a brief presentation. As Stacy said, I'm the program manager for this Advanced Manufacturing Machinist Training Program here at North Shore Community College. And so what I'd like to do is walk you through a brief presentation, and if you have questions now that I can answer, I'd be happy to do so. I will, if Stacy gets me the list of who's in the room in terms of email addresses, I will follow up this presentation with a one-page summary of the program. So that will probably be helpful with contact information and so forth. Okay. So, are there staff? Are there students? Are there a combination of both here?
Combination of both.
Okay, great. So we're a small enough group so that if you have questions, and this should take about 15 minutes, if you have questions, please feel free to interrupt me and ask questions now rather than holding on to them. I may have answers for some things and not for others. I'll be happy to get back to you if I don't have the information today. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. Can everybody see that? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great,
Yes.
thank you. So this is machinist training and foundational skills training that is being funded through the GE Foundation and is part of AMTEP, which is the Advanced Manufacturing Training Expansion Program. And let me go over to this screen and move it along. So what I'll do is give you an overview and then drill down a little bit into some specifics as we get further along. This training program, this machinist training program, has two parts. The first part is a 5-week, 50-hour foundational skills training that will happen remotely through North Shore Community College. After that, students will go to one of 3 locations for a 16-week, 400-hour training in machinist training, and there's some career readiness content with that as well. So the 3 technical schools that are, Gloucester is not a technical high school, but they have a technical program that North Shore is working with through this program is RSX Tech's Lynn Vocational and then Gloucester. And that'll happen in the fall. And I'll go into details about what's covered, et cetera, et cetera. And I think one of the nice things about this, aside from it being a totally free program that covers tuition, books, and materials, as well as fees associated with certification requirements, is that you become certified. It's a national certification. You become a CNC milling operator, and that is through the National Institute of Metalworking Skills. It's a great opportunity. The college has run very similar programs to this over the last few years. We've done a number of groups, and there was probably a 95% employment rate. We have, and certainly this is an unprecedented situation, so that we fully expect that what we know about the current situation is that employers are continuing to work. They are continuing to hire people in the manufacturing sector, particularly on the North Shore. And what is ongoing is that we have employers who are very interested in our graduates. Over the last couple of classes of this, we have employers who are waiting for our graduates. And we fully expect that that will continue. So as I said, this is a training program that's grant funded, and the funder is the GE Foundation. So I thought that I would give you just 2 minutes of a brief video that talks a little bit about advanced manufacturing and machinists, with the assumption that some of you may be familiar with what machinists do, and some of you may not have given it any thought up until this point. Certainly before I became involved with these programs over the last number of years, if you had asked me what machinists do and what manufacturing is, what the images in my mind was loud, dirty, lot of guys, you know. Certainly that's changed. There's a range of opportunities in terms of the kind of companies that are on the North Shore. So with that wonderful intro, let me give you just 2 minutes of this brief video about advanced manufacturing, okay?
Manufacturing today is not like it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Today's manufacturing is clean, high-tech, fun. There's a cool factor involved.
You're actually making something. You're contributing to society. We made this dental implant. We made this component that saves somebody's life or control the amount of emissions that go in the air.
Manufacturing is a good opportunity for anybody that's looking for a good career path. They offer a lot of opportunities that a lot of the other industries don't.
Industries we service are not going to go away.
Well, you get to really work on some really neat stuff and know that you're helping people. We do a lot of medical work, an artificial heart.
Instruments used in surgery, implants, aerospace components that go up in the space shuttle or on aircraft, automotive components.
Making the stuff that makes computers and the screens and the plasma TVs and the cell phones.
Anything that basically humans touch in their daily life is somehow affected by manufacturing in this country at one point or another.
There's a lot of job openings, and in all kinds of fields. Engineers, machinists, and CNC machinists.
Right now, there's a big demand for people to come in and manufacture parts. There are several different manufacturers who need to have skilled labor.
There aren't enough people going into these fields, so the opportunities for people that do come into the field are vast.
Just the amount of people who are retiring on a daily basis just to replace those numbers is going to be almost insurmountable.
So let me stop it there. And let me go back to where I was. So I think we're very fortunate to be on the North Shore of Boston. There are many different advanced manufacturing sectors, and by that they make all different kinds of things. So the medical devices, the artificial hearts that you saw, a lot of pharmaceutical companies and biotech, high tech, a lot of automotive and plastics and food and beverage and environmental. If you have a particular interest in making one particular thing, it probably exists in this area. I know a lot of these companies have pivoted in the last number of weeks to be moving from what they're making usually to personal protective equipment for healthcare workers. And so that's in the mix as well. I know for some people who are considering this as students, you know, you might, again, around here we have small mom and pop shops with a few people that have a kind of a smaller family kind of feel to them. And we also have large companies, multinational companies that have facilities in our area. So if you have preferences about size, and there are advantages and disadvantages, there's no wrong or right, it's really what your preference is, we can probably find you a work environment that works for you. And again, it ranges from large facilities with large open floors and lots of machines and busy to quiet clean rooms where people are wearing protective gear and are working in very specific ways. So there's a wide range that's available in terms of work, the places where you would work. The compensation, the wages, hourly compensation, and these are to start, are somewhere between $16 and $25 an hour. The annual salaries are between $32,000 and $50,000 a year, and those are full-time benefited positions. So those come with health care and the range of other benefits that you would typically find. And I think, as I mentioned, there are over 150 companies close by that employ machinists. So from my perspective as a program manager for this training program, for me, the ideal candidate is somebody who is detail-oriented, organized, likes to solve problems. If you're somebody who likes to take things apart and put things back together, that's great. This is a job where there's going to be ongoing learning. You know, some people prefer to know what they're going to do and have the same thing to do every day of work. And this is really not that kind of job. You will be learning things all the time, and your position will change and grow. This is also a job that requires some math. So we are not looking for people who love math. We're not looking for people who are fully competent in math, but we are looking for people who are comfortable with learning math. And I'll go into the details of that in a moment. And I think, as a couple people on the video said, if you're interested in a career, if you're interested in a job that will have opportunities to grow and advance, this is a great job to begin with, that there are great opportunities. Our graduates from the last few years have gone on to get promotions, more responsibility, learn new things. It's a great opportunity if this fits with what your interests are. Before I go on to the next one, are there any questions about this so far that I can answer? Then I'll continue. So the course prerequisites. So if you'll remember back to the beginning of when I started talking, there are two parts to this program. One is foundational skills, and one is the hands-on shop machinist training. And we are expecting that if you are currently in a high-set program and you are studying for your high-set, that by the fall, that is in 6 or 7 months from now, we would like you to have achieved that high-set credential. So it doesn't mean that you have to have it in place now. You can go to foundational skills and still be working on your high-set. But the terms of the grant are to go into the machinist training, which will be either at Essex Tech, at Lynn Vocational, or Gloucester. You'll have to have a high school credential. And preference is given to North Shore residents, to Lynn and Salem residents, and others, but this is really open to anyone. If you're in high-set class already, we will probably not require you to demonstrate competency in math and reading and writing, because you're already working on it and you probably have higher skill levels than other people. So we are expecting people to have 100% attendance. This is a condensed course, a program, and we're covering a lot of ground. And so we want people to be there. And frankly, in the past, we have employers who are very interested in our graduates, and they will say, so tell me who the top 5 students are in this class, and tell me who has been here 100% of the time, has great attendance and is punctual and responsible. That is, if not as important, very important to employers. You know, so Those are the prerequisites. Prerequisites, for those of you that may not be familiar with the word, are what you have to have before you can start the machinist training. Okay. The foundational skills starts in mid-July, goes to mid-August. It's 5 weeks. It's a total of 50 hours. And we will brush up on basic arithmetic and geometry mostly, a little bit of algebra, but conversion of metric to non-metric, lots of basic math that for many people, they may not be using it in their day-to-day lives. And so it's a refresher course to make sure that when you start the machinist training, your math will be up to snuff. Okay. The other thing that we will teach students about is computers and technical communications, that they'll be exposed. You'll learn all about the Microsoft Office suite of software. That's, you know, Word and Excel and PowerPoint and Outlook. And with the assumption being that it'll serve you well to be able to know how to compose a business email, write a memo, write a report, read a report, that how you communicate when you're working is different than how you communicate with family and friends. So that's the 50-hour, 5-week, mid-July to mid-August. And then in the fall, students would go to one of the 3 locations, Essex Tech, Lynn Vocational, or Gloucester High. And, you know, in the past, we've been able to honor students' preferences for location. You know, people have all different reasons for wanting to be closer to their home or having transportation that can get to one place and not to another. So our expectation is we'll be able to honor people's preferences for location for the machinist training. So these are the technical kinds of subject matter that students will learn when they're going through this training. So if they're not familiar to you right now, that's okay. We're not expecting people to come into the program with this vocabulary and this knowledge already in place. So a lot of it has to do with being able to measure parts, understand what you're doing. Blueprints are an important part of this. They're very detailed blueprints. And so how you understand that and how you translate the specifications on a blueprint into telling the machine what to make. You'll be doing 2 specific pieces of software, which you'll be using SolidWorks, which is computer-aided design, and Mastercam, which is software for milling programming, how you'll be programming the machines. You'll be doing also geometric dimensions and tolerancing, which is related to measurement. And the machinist training you'll be in the shop, and these 3 locations all have excellent machine shops. I know that both Essex Tech and Lynn in the last few years have had big capital skills grants, which have paid for totally retooling those their shop environments. They are terrific. The staff that I've worked with at the schools are committed, knowledgeable, student-focused, really go out of their way to get people on track and successful. So I can't say enough good about that. You know, you would be in very good hands there. And as I mentioned before, you would achieve CNC milling operator certification, which employers know and value. Additionally, you'll get an OSHA 10 certification, which is really about workplace safety, how to work in a way not to injure yourself or hurt anybody else. And that's certainly a smaller certification than the NIM certification, but valued as well. So that's the hands-on. You'll also be getting some career readiness training, and so will help you take your existing resume and make it the strongest written representation of your knowledge, skills, and experience. And if you don't have a resume, we'll help you write one. Additionally, we will strengthen your interviewing skills so that when you're sitting across from an employer in an interview situation, you can not only have a resume that's a clear and strong representation of who you are, but you're able to verbally and non-verbally show up as competent, interested, and very employable. You'll learn about job search strategies, and when you have an interview, how to research companies so that you understand who you're speaking to when you're in the interview. Additionally, there will be field trips to a number of employer sites, so you can see what the work is, so you can talk to people who are working there. There'll be employer panels that'll come in and talk about their companies and what they're looking for. And at the end of this, there's a job fair. In the past, we have had, 25 or 30 employers that come, and they are coming because they are interested in the people that complete this program, and they have jobs. And so you have an opportunity to meet people, give people your resume, have brief conversations with them, set up interviews. It's worked out very well in both directions. Employers are delighted to be able to do it, and our students get jobs, and good jobs. So the course schedule is the 2 pieces: foundational skills, mid-July to mid-August. It's going to meet 3 nights a week, late afternoon, early evening. Those times are not carved in stone. It probably will be 4 to 7. It might be 5 to 8. I mean, we will try and accommodate people's schedules for those people that are working as best we can. And then the machinist training will happen in the fall, and that'll be 3 evenings a week as well, and then all day Saturday from 7 to 3. And it's a big commitment, but you come out of a fairly brief program with super skills, great connections, and a very good shot at a job. I mean, the last few classes that we've had, everyone who wanted to work got jobs. So I'm Judith Nast. I'm the program manager at the college, and I work closely with Sandra Estradio, who is at Mass Higher North Shore Career Center in Salem. And I will send you this, a 1-page summary of this, so that with email addresses and so forth. So let me stop it here. Yeah, Stacy. Hi.
How many weeks is the fall machinist training?
16 weeks.
And do you have a definite start date yet by any chance?
Not for the fall. You know, we're this is a little bit of a wing and a prayer, right?
Right.
We're hoping that that by the fall, part of this program can be done remotely. Part of it must be done hands-on. So we are expecting we will figure it out by then, but we don't have a start date yet. It's not firm. Other questions or thoughts or comments, or, yeah, sure, go ahead.
What assessment is Sandra using?
For non-high-set students, I think they'll be tabed.
Okay, okay. All right, great.
And it'll, I think the minimum of 8th grade math and reading.
Okay.
Although our experience is people who have more skills do better, but, so.
Brianna?
Yes. Hi.
So is this only for students who are attending the North Shore Community Adult Learning Center right now, or could, like, say if I knew someone who would probably fit in very well?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Everybody.
one, it's not limited just to North Shore Community College Adult Learning Center students, because North Shore is is doing this, I'm coming to talk to people here because I want
Mhm.
everybody here to know about it. But it is certainly open to other people. Yes, and if you know somebody, please send them our way.
And it's in the evening, correct? So it's
Yes.
like, so, because I used to work in a machine shop, actually. I used to work at Lynn Manufacturing in
Oh,
Lynn.
really?
Yes. So they just recently asked for me back, so I don't know, I've kind of been thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be a good opportunity, like if I learn a little bit more about, the machines that are inside of my work as well, on top of, working there.
You might be perfect.
Mm.
And if you would like to talk about specifics more, or talk to one of the instructors to say so what exactly, because I'm not a machinist. So but if you have questions about technical details, I can certainly connect you with instructional staff.
Okay.
Yeah, terrific. I great. Yeah.
Yeah, and Brianna, you can even share the link to this class for Friday with that person if you want, and they
Oh,
can
yeah.
listen in as well on Friday. It'll be the same presentation.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for mentioning that, Stacy. Excellent. Yes. Other questions, comments, thoughts that I can? Yes, please. Hi,
Yeah,
Heather.
I'm just curious, how long has the program been in existence? You said this
Brand
been
new.
brand new.
Well,
Okay.
so this grant is a new grant through the GE Foundation.
Okay.
And so it will be using curricula that have been running for the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So, so while it's a brand new training program funded by a new funding entity, the GE Foundation, the curricula and staff and the partnerships among all of these schools are well established.
Okay.
Does that?
It sounded like that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is, it's wonderful. It's a good team. It's a really solid team. It's worked very well. The outcomes are that people, we have almost 100% completion rate. So that's different than an employment rate. So when somebody starts, we get them through the program, and then we have, I think the last one we had 97% employment rate.
Okay.
It was really,
Fantastic.
it's not, that's not always the case. So it's really exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, and Erin, this grant is really made to address the need that was talked about on the video, that there's so many openings, and there can be even more openings as people retire and they do not have the bodies to fill them. So we want
Right.
to get people in 900 jobs hopefully by the end of this whole thing.
Right.
Okay, great. Okay.
Great,
Judith, may I
thank you,
ask-
Judith.
Yes.
Oh,
Go ahead,
can I just
Michelle.
ask one question? Yeah,
Sure.
we do have someone in mind in our program who does not have a high set, who is working on a high set. What you said that non-high set applicants were going to be assessed with the tape.
Yeah.
What if it's somebody who's working on the high set, and what would your
so to start in the fall, the terms of this grant are that students have to have some kind of high school credential.
okay?
So if they're working on their high set, I think that we will waive any assessment with that.
Okay.
in mind,
Okay, all right, that's great. That's good to know.
We want to make this doable.
Okay.
And not put more barriers in front of people.
So for your start date on July 20th, they
Yes.
don't have to have the high set at that
Correct.
point.
Correct.
True? Okay.
Correct.
They would be still continuing to work for it, and would have to have it by the time you started in the fall.
Exactly. Yes.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome, of course.
Yeah, and this is a great way for people that don't get their high set by June 30th to continue, because the foundational skills course will obviously help them with the high set as well. So if they're getting
Great.
close to completion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the foundational skills course, what is that going to involve?
It'll be 40 hours of math that'll be focused on the math
Okay.
used in advanced manufacturing, and then 10 plus hours of computers, Microsoft Office, software, that
Okay.
kind of stuff. You know, we're
All
trying
right.
to balance, you can't do solid math with somebody for 5 weeks. It would make anyone, you know, it's difficult. So
Right.
we're trying to balance it with what would be useful functional information that'll help somebody in a job.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
it's
counter.
it's
Go
all
ahead.
remote too, right?
So we are expecting
5
that this
hours
will
of
be
remote math. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
We have some terrific instructors who have, last summer we had the instructor who's been teaching this for a long time, who actually was working at Essex Tech, and so the current cohort that's finishing up, so she was able to provide continuity of instruction, because they continue to get math instruction. Once students continue, there is some math associated with this. And so
Right.
it really worked out very well.
Yeah, we actually sent someone to the program that's running at Gloucester High now.
Oh, excellent.
And yeah, his math skills were really good. And you had to have a high school diploma for that. So, you know, he had that as well. And he just said it's an amazing program,
I'm so
an
glad to
amazing
hear that.
program. Yeah.
I'm glad he's having a good experience.
Even though it's, you know, he was only in it about 2 weeks before it went remote, but he's just finding it. He puts all this, he works in a machine shop, but he puts like 4 hours aside at night to do his studies for the remote work that he's doing with this program.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it's been a very good experience for him.
You know, we wish that for everyone, you know, and I think that is more of a typical reaction to this training. It's you know, it was designed with what kinds of needs do employers have, and working backwards from those requirements to develop a program and a set of curricula that, you know, is doable for students and really prepares them for advanced manufacturing and for career advancement.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Judith.
Okay. Again, I very much appreciate all of your time and attention, and I'll be following up with that one-page summary, and feel free to grab me anytime, and thank you, Stacy. Okay.
You're welcome.